Hello and welcome back to Podium Pop. My name is Celine and I'm here with my co-host Gracie. We are a motorsport podcast and we are going to have a very fun episode for you. This is your intro to all things IMSA and all things Daytona 24. It is going to be the first IMSA race of the year, so we're just going to give you a really quick crash course. Before we get too far into it, first of all, I want to say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Welcome back. We are almost at our birthday.
That's
next
crazy.
Week.
Next week's our birthday.
Next week will be 2 full years of Podium Pop.
That's insane.
Is that year 2 or year 3? Year 3.
Like,
that's we're turning 3.
No, we're turning 2, but we're going into our 3rd year.
That's confusing. No, we're turning 2?
We're turning 2.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
But we've done 2 full years.
Yeah. It's just like age. Like, I'm 28 right now, but I'm technically living my 29th year.
That messes with my head so much.
Pretend like you didn't hear how old I
am. Anyways, back to the intro. Our birthday's coming up, so that's super exciting. We debuted a new logo. We're going to bring some new stuff for this year that we're super excited about that you'll hear about later this year. But before we get into the episode, please make sure to go follow us on social media. We post on TikTok and on Instagram. We also post our episodes on YouTube and on Spotify every single week. We did take a week off last week because of the holidays, but we're back and we're excited for the new year. So make sure you follow us and let's go ahead and pop the bottle and get right on into the episode.
Let's do it.
Okay, IMSA.
Let's start first. What is IMSA?
So IMSA is the International Motorsports Association.
Yes.
IMSA has been around for a long time, and it's actually one of those things that I feel like in the past year to 2 years, I don't know if it's because I started getting into it, I'm noticing more people talking about it, or if it is just gaining popularity. It's kind of hard to see it when you're like right in the thick of it. But I do feel like it's definitely
gaining popularity for sure.
I think so too.
Yeah.
IMSA was actually the first thing that we covered on TikTok from Podium Pop.
Yeah.
Because we started, again, early to mid-January. We started Podium Pop in 2024.
Yeah.
And the videos that we posted about the Rolex 24 in January were like some of the first videos that we made.
Yeah. It was like the first racing TikTok we ever covered.
Yes. Yeah. So it is kind of nostalgic that here we are again.
It really is.
But we didn't really start getting too far into IMSA until
last year.
Yeah. We started covering it, being a lot closer to it. I don't want to say that I only know IMSA because of Pietro, but Pietro joining IMSA, who's my favorite race car driver, Pietro Fittipaldi, if you all don't know. But it definitely made me like pay more close attention to it and like really like dig in, learn the lore, learn the rules.
You're welcome for that, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember like Daytona 24, I was like, I'm bored. What is this racing series that people talking about? I was like, what is Pato racing in right now? Like, I don't understand. Or like, it was like the lead up to it. And then I was like, hey, there's this race that's going to go on for 24 hours. And then I remember I also was talking to my dad about it. He was like, oh yeah, the one in Daytona, or is it Le Mans? I was like, no, this is the one in Daytona. And my dad was like, yeah. And he's telling me all about it. I was like, oh, okay. Do we know what this is?
It is funny because like, you wasn't the only reason, but like you're like, let me pay attention to this race. Pato's in it. I'm a big Pato fan. Let me look into it. Same thing with me. Pietro is driving it. Let me learn more about it. And that just like kind of proves that like those special like crossovers between different motorsport, it like really does bring in new fans. Like IMSA and WEC both are great for it because they have so many people driving in it that they need so many drivers to pull from different series. But when Kyle Larson from NASCAR is doing the Indy 500, or when they have, I forget what they're called in NASCAR. I almost called them celeb shots, but that's not it.
No, I mean, it basically is.
It basically is like a celeb shot.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But it was like, who did it?
I'm so sorry, I don't know.
Shoot.
Like recently?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like this Portuguese guy. Or Brazilian guy. He did Indy 500 too.
Elio?
Yes.
Oh.
I could not remember his name. Elio Castroneves did.
Oh, the Wendy's car.
Yes.
Yeah,
and he did NASCAR. But all those crossover events.
Like it works.
It's giving.
That's so sweet. Like Montana. It is.
And I love that you knew exactly what I was trying to say.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's great. So both of us kind of were introduced to IMSA by, at the time, IndyCar drivers kind of racing in it. But now I would say we're full-fledged fans. We're fully in it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
IMSA is different from Formula One and different from IndyCar. So Formula One and IndyCar are open wheel racing, where this is more like sports car racing. It's like GT3s, like Grand Touring cars. And there's also, it's endurance races. So some of the races in the IMSA season is lasts 2 hours, 40 minutes. So it's like the shortest race, I believe. But obviously that spans all the way up to the longest one, which is in Daytona this January, and it's 24 hours long. Yep. There are other races. There's a 12-hour long race, 10-hour race, 6-hour race, 8 hours. It all varies, but because it's endurance races, it's multiple drivers in these cars. So instead of having, Max Verstappen in the singular Red Bull, you have Pietro, Enzo, Chris Cummings, and Manuel in the 73 Pratt Miller.
Okay.
And
that was nice.
Thank you.
You really spit all that out.
Well, I can do it off the cusp with Pratt Miller.
That's fair.
Off the cusp.
Off the cusp?
Off the cuff?
Off the cuff.
It's really not my business.
That's it never is.
It never is.
Never is.
But because of that, it's it really is truly like a team game. It also gets really intertwined because you have multiple manufacturers with multiple different teams, with multiple different cars, with multiple different drivers. So when you're kind of in those situations, along with all that, you're also racing in 4 different categories. It gets a little confusing.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
We've said this before. The way you have to get into it is just watch.
Yeah. You kind of have to let go of the idea that you're going to understand everything.
Yeah, you're not.
You're not, especially not at first.
No.
People have been fans of this their whole lives, and it's still a lot of information.
Okay, we're going to talk about the different classes in IMSA, and there are 4 different classes. The first one we're going to talk about is the GTP class, and those are the fastest cars, and over on the WEC side of things, you would kind of compare these to the hypercar in WEC.
Yeah, definitely always going to be the all-over winner of the race, and it's a lot of constructors like Porsche and Cadillac and Aston Martin. Those are all in GTP category. The second fastest would be LMP2. So LMP2 is the Le Mans prototype car, and that is going to be all spec. So it basically means that all of the cars manufacturer is Orica. So it's a little bit different. A lot of private teams are in this category, and we see a lot of our favorite drivers like Pietro and Logan Sargent participating in the LMP2. But yeah, they're always the second fastest on the track typically.
And then next is the GTD Pro. So these are all of our pro drivers.
So yeah, GTD is the Grand Touring Daytona, and there's 2 categories basically. There's GTD Pro and GTD. GTD Pro is basically all platinum and gold rated drivers that are participating, versus GTD is a mixture of professional drivers and amateur drivers. So you'll see a lot more silver and bronze drivers participating in the GTD category. But both of them are what I would say is the most similar to a car that you would see on the street.
Yeah, for sure.
And definitely more like what you would picture looking at a sports car. So that's a breakdown of the 4 classes.
And they're all racing at the exact same time.
All racing at the same time, all different paces. You have lapped traffic.
Oh, yeah.
You have
and you have manufacturers in different categories helping each other out.
Exactly. And then you also got to think that so many of the manufacturers have technical alliances with other, teams and different series. One example that always kind of comes to mind is that the RLL racing team drives, their manufacturer this year is McLaren.
Yes. But
McLaren, aka Aaron McLaren, and RLL are competitors in IndyCar, and they don't have a technical alliance. But it's just so weird. And also Meyer Shank is in IMSA, but they're also in IndyCar. Then you obviously have the Ferraris that are in WEC and Formula One, and there's Mercedes. It's just all like combined around it. It's just like there's so many changes and so many differences.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have a quote on here, kind of talking about the differences between them. Obviously, like IMSA is you have to have longer strategy. Like you have to be like 200 steps ahead because so many things can happen, especially in the longer races. But also, again, like we talked about, so many differences. And I my quote on here is F1 is playing checkers and IMSA is playing chess.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, like, F1 would have, like, maybe the, like, engineering side of it maybe, like, higher, but I feel like really everything else, like, the strategy, like you said, and, like, the longevity of everything and having to think of so many different things.
Yeah. I think another thing that kind of is one big difference between IMSA and Formula One, for example, is that in Formula One, like, when you're out, you're out.
Oh,
like, it's over. Yeah. In IMSA, if you like crash out, you can take that car back to the garage, get it fixed up, and get back in the race. So like whenever it's like this car is out, they could easily be back in because if they get it fixed. And it actually is worth it because it's a 24-hour long race.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, yes, if you're out like 50 laps, like, is it hard to make up that time? Absolutely. Yes. But you still want to get back in it. You also get points for finishing the race too, I think. Don't quote me on that one. But it's worth it to get the car back in the race and to finish the race, even if it seems like all hope is lost. But in Formula One, you don't even have that option.
Yeah. I also feel like for these races, like, it's 24 hours long. Like, Daytona is one of the biggest races of the year. It's like these drivers want to be back out there.
Yeah, they want to race in this iconic setting. Yeah. So very different, but a lot of familiar names doing it. So let's break down the race calendar a little bit. So there are 11 IMSA races, and another thing to kind of point out that could make this a little confusing. When we're referring to IMSA in this video specifically, we're referring to IMSA WeatherTech. IMSA has WeatherTech, which is definitely the biggest series that they have in the main series, I would say. But they have a lot of support series, like they have Super Trofeo, Porsche Carrera Cup, Michelin Pilot Challenge, a bunch more that also will often race at these same weekends. So like Michelin Pilot Challenge is also going to be at Daytona. I think MX5 is going to be at Daytona doing races as well. And for the calendar that you look at it, just because WeatherTech is there doesn't mean that Michelin Pilot's going to be there, or sometimes there's just the Michelin Pilot Challenge without WeatherTech. Like, for example, at Mid-Ohio, which is our home track, Michelin Pilot Challenge and I think the VP Challenge race there, but WeatherTech doesn't race there. Let me just add on one more confusing thing, is that just because WeatherTech is racing for a weekend does not mean that all 4 categories are participating. So there's oftentimes that for especially the shorter races, they'll just do 2 of the categories, or they'll just do like for example, I forget what race is, but a lot of times it's like GTD and LMP2 racing together, and then they'll have a weekend where the WeatherTech Challenge is just the GTD and the GTD Pros. So keep that in mind. Make sure you do research. Like, if you're like, I'm going to this race because I want to see this driver, do your research, because that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to do it. Another thing, if you're going for a specific driver, is that just because they're on the team in Daytona does not mean that they're going to be on the team at the race that you go to for IMSA, because for the shorter races, they typically only have 2 drivers assigned to the car for that race. So again, for example, using Pratt Miller, we have Manuel, Chris, Pietro, and Enzo for the Daytona, but Enzo's only doing Daytona with the team. He's not on it for the full season. For depending on the race, maybe they'll just have Pietro and Manuel. Maybe they'll just have Chris and Manuel. It could be mixed up depending on the race weekend. But for the longer ones, that's where you see 3 to 4 drivers assigned to each car. Which is why it allows drivers from different series, like drivers from Formula One and WEC and IndyCar, to come in and participate in Daytona 24, because they basically just need like 1 extra driver for the weekend. Did that make sense?
It does make sense for sure. I think the biggest takeaway from that is if you have like a race local to you or you have a driver that you really want, double check before you purchase tickets for a race. Like if you want to go just for the vibes of it all, for sure. But if you have like, you're like, oh, like Celine, like I want to see Pietro, do your research.
Yeah. If you're unsure, message me.
Yeah.
I'll look into it for you because it is confusing. That was like the toughest thing for me to wrap my head around when kind of like watching the races last year is I'd be like, wait, what categories are racing? Like what, how many drivers are going to be assigned? Like until the entry list comes out, you can't know for sure if your race car driver is going to be there versus like IndyCar, who's going to be there every weekend. Formula One, who's going to be there every weekend. But you really don't know for IMSA until the entry list comes out.
Since we're talking about people.
Okay.
A lot of people have started watching IMSA because Logan Sargent joined.
Yes.
And at Daytona, he's racing with Era Motorsport.
Yes.
Is he with them for the whole season, or is this just Daytona?
I don't actually know the answer to that.
I thought it was at the moment just Daytona.
I believe it might just be Daytona only, but I think that could possibly change.
I think it could.
There are still even spots for Daytona that have not been fully confirmed yet.
Mm-hmm.
So again, until the official entry list comes out, it's hard to know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, a lot of drivers in IMSA are also doing other series. They're, Fred Vesti does, WEC, he does IMSA, and he's also a reserve driver for Mercedes and Formula One. So because of those different schedules and different weekends.
When does he sleep?
Yeah, when does he sleep?
Because we know half the time he's locked in the sim with Mercedes.
A poor guy. Poor Fred. Yeah. But, just check for the official entry list from the official website.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and we still, like I said, we still don't even have the official entry list for Daytona. There's still some spots open.
Another question for the fans to talk about.
Okay. Don't know if I know the answer.
For the Podium Pop fans.
The Podium Pop.
The race weekend, is it set up similar to IndyCar and Formula One?
It is set up similarly. It is kind of similar to IndyCar where, like, Formula One, very strict FP1, FP2, FP3 qualifying race, except for sprint weekend. Where IndyCar, the times get kind of adjusted. Sometimes they'll have, like, a highline practice. It's kind of the same for IMSA, where, like, yes, they do have practice sessions. Yes, they have a qualifying, and yes, they have a race. But sometimes those are mixed up a little bit. For example, for IMSA at Daytona, on the Friday, they have qualifying, and then they have a practice session at night so that they can get some night sessions in. And then the race, or no, the night practice is on Thursday. But it's all mixed up, basically. And that kind of changes depending on what race you go to, how long the race is. But it is kind of structured similarly where they do have the practices, qualifying, in the race.
Yeah.
Good question.
Thank you.
Don't always have the answer, but I can provide that for you.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about Daytona. So I went to Daytona last year. Favorite race I've ever been to. This year it is on January 21st through the 25th. If you are going in person, first of all, let me know. Let's meet up. Let's talk. But if you can't go in person, it's also going to be streamed on Peacock.
It's fun watching. Like, even, like, not in person.
Yeah.
The whole, like, my favorite part is, like, I think in 24 when we watched, going to bed, my team leading the category, and then waking up and seeing we're in fourth and being like, what happened?
Yeah.
Literally, what's going on? It's also fun, like, you could also wake up and then your team is, like, leading the whole thing.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's like one of those that, like, you can leave and come back to. The same thing that I love watching Le Mans every year for the same reason. It's just like a fun event to watch with friends. But it's also a lot of fun to go in person. So if you ever get the opportunity, I would definitely go for it if you can. It's also just iconic to go to Daytona International Speedway. Yeah. The colorful chairs and
it's very iconic.
In the grandstands is just super fun. But there are going to be a lot of people participating. There's 61 cars, which is the max entry right now. And there's over 200 drivers.
Crazy.
Like, imagine, like, the IMSA, like, organizers.
I know, like, how many people do they have for this race?
I don't know.
Like, obviously a lot, but
it's a good question, because, like, 200 drivers is a lot to, like, maneuver around, and for everyone to be in the same spot at the same time, make sure everyone's following the rules. Like, that's a lot.
Yeah, you're thinking, like, making sure everybody's getting there for the autograph sessions. And, like, it's
which
crazy.
I guess that's more so, like, up to the teams.
The teams, for sure. But
you still a lot of teams to manage.
Yeah, for sure.
You're, like, walking by and you're like, Enzo, what are you doing? You're supposed to be signing autographs. So, yeah, that would be really stressful. But over 200 drivers. So, chances are you've probably heard of one of the drivers that are going to be there this weekend. I'm going to go... Oh, go ahead.
You said this weekend.
I wish it was this weekend. The weekend of Daytona 24, which is January 21st to the 25th. I wrote down some of our favorites that we kind of already are going into the race, like, cheering for a little bit. But we'll start with the GTP category. Do you want to talk through some of those?
Oh, yeah. I love the Aston Martin Thor.
Yes. You're a big Aston Martin girl when it comes to endurance racing.
I really am. I mean, when it comes to endurance, it's Aston Martin and Ford. We also love Cadillac Wheeling, number 31, because of Fred Vesti.
Woo!
K-Mag is on the number 25 BMW team. Oh my god, I don't know why that. I was reading that and I was like, am I saying words out loud?
BMW M Team WRT is a mouthful. So.
No, yeah, it really is. And then Acura Meyershank have two teams, the number 60 with Scott Dixon and then the number 93 with Alex Palou.
Yeah, like we said, a lot of IndyCar drivers coming over to do that. Next for the LMP2 category, obviously we got to give a shout out to number 18, Era Motorsport. Logan Sargent. Let's go. Logan did participate in IMSA last year, but he was driving for a different team. He was driving for PR1 Mathiesen. So, switching up the team. Next, number 43, Inter-Europol competition. That's just, like, one that, like, I can't not root for them. Like, they've just been kind of my OG team that I supported years ago. Yeah. And I just kind of stuck around with them. The Inter-Europol has another car, the number 343, and that Nolan Siegel is actually driving with that team as well. Nolan Siegel is also driving with Inter-Europol competition with the Asian Le Mans series right now. So strong ties to that team.
Wow, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, he's participating there. He's over he's in Dubai at the end of the month. The weekend, he goes from Daytona to Dubai, according to the calendar.
All right.
So, super exciting for him. Number 73, Pratt Miller. Guys, I don't need to say it. And the number 99, AO Racing. This is Spike, not Rexy. Rexy's in a different category. Spike is the purple dragon. And Christian Rasmussen from ECR is also racing on that team. Do you want to go through GTD Pro?
I'd love to. Then there's the number 14, Vassar Sullivan, Kyle Kirkwood, of course. We're rooting for it. And then we have the Ford Multimatic, the number 64, and the number 65. We have the 75 Express. That's what Will Power is racing with. Who Will Power is racing with. And then the RLL team McLaren, number 59.
Yeah, a lot of people that were rooting for in GTD Pro. That seems to be a trend for me. Is GTD Pro and LMP2 is like where all of my favorites happen to race, and I always have to cheer on a lot of. Next is the GTD category, and for GTD category, we are rooting on the number 21 AF Corsa because of Lily Wado. She also raced in the European Le Mans Series last year. I almost said last year. As well as the number 120 Wright Motorsport. They are a local team. They're based out of Cincinnati. And also Callum Ilot's driving for them this year, which is super exciting. So a lot of people to support, a lot of people to cheer on. Again, like we said, there are still some spots that are open that more drivers can be added to. There are some teams that still have not even started announcing their driver lineup. So
okay, Dale Coyne.
I literally was thinking the exact same thing. Very Dale Coyne of them.
Very Dale Coyne of them.
But like we said, I went last year. We're going this year. There's a couple of tips that we're going to view, and this is specifically for Daytona. This isn't technically for like all IMSA. Every IMSA race is different. They each have their own rules, guidelines, that kind of thing. But for Daytona specifically, the number one piece of advice I can give you is it's going to be cold. I was so cold last year. And it's not cold the whole time. It's really when the sun goes down. But it's Florida, yes, but it's North Florida. You're near the beach. It's windy. It's going to be cold. Just pack multiple layers. Pack warm. You can always take layers off. That's my big piece of advice. Next piece of advice is there's so much to do at Daytona, so definitely encourage you to walk around and explore. They do have trams that are running, and the trams basically go from the front of the grandstands, like the main entrance, to the fan zone back and forth. There's not a lot of tram stops, but those get you at least close enough to where you need to go. But there's a huge fan zone, and in the fan zone, there's food vendors, there's like team merch set up, there's the Rolex 24, merch shop. There's the Daytona Speedway merch shop. There's the IMSA merch shop. Like, there's so many different things. If you're going in looking for merch, you can find merch for sure. They also have a lot of vendors that sell like thrifted pieces or like secondhand pieces that they have found cool. And like accumulated in their, what is it called?
Small business.
In their business, yeah. So there's plenty to buy, which is dangerous because you'll be tempted quite a bit. But definitely go explore. There is a Ferris wheel as well.
Nice.
Which I think was one of my favorite things that I did last year was the Ferris wheel. It was so fun. At least last year it was cash only. So if you plan on going in to do Ferris wheel, make sure you take cash. But it's definitely worth it. I think it was $8 if I remember correctly. But you get to go around a couple times and seeing it from the Ferris wheel, like seeing the tracks, cars on track, especially if you do it at night. Best view of IMSA racing that you can see.
Does it go all night long? In my opinion.
What?
Does it go all night long?
It does go all night long.
Wow.
And it has like little lights on it. And at 2 a.m. when I was sitting there shivering in like 8 layers of clothing, those lights got me through to the morning.
That's so fair.
It was really me and that Ferris wheel. They have a special connection. So.
Yeah, you guys have a history.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Next is make sure you review the rules before you go. They are pretty relaxed as far as races go. If you're familiar with going to Formula One races, Daytona IMSA rules are going to shock you. Mm-hmm. You can bring in your own food and drink, no glass bottles. Everything needs to be like safe. You can't be, chucking bottles everywhere. But you can bring in alcohol. You can bring in snacks. You can bring in sodas, waters, all of that. They do have water fountains all around. And again, they're selling a bunch of food as well. You can bring in 2 bags each. Pretty big bags. I carried a backpack in last year. No issues at all. You can bring strollers in if you're bringing your kids. I will say that Daytona is one of those races, obviously not if you're staying the full 24 hours, but I do think Daytona is one of those races that is really kid friendly. And it's a really good place to bring kids because it's not one of those races that you have to be sat in front of the whole time. Yeah. Like Formula One, when the race is on, you're sat. But Daytona, it's 24 hours. So you have time to, roam around and explore. Sunscreen, bug spray, all good to bring in. Hand sanitizer, you can bring in blankets. Recommend if it's cold. Just make sure you review the rules specifically for the Rolex 24 because also rules slightly vary from the Daytona 500 and the Rolex 24.
Mm-hmm.
So keep that in mind.
Love that.
Yep.
Besides the Ferris wheel, what was your favorite moment last year? Not don't give me the podium or the start or something.
Right. I really off track, not to do with the racing. My favorite experience was the autograph signing.
Oh, nice.
I really liked the autograph signing. It is one of those that it's a little stressful because there's once again over 200 drivers. And
tell everybody how it works.
So this is last year. I don't know if they do it this way every single year.
Pretend like they do.
But how it was structured is they released basically a list of what drivers are and what teams are going to be at what tables. And there's rows of tables. And there's I forget, 15 rows of tables. And you would get in line for a specific table. So you had to kind of look at the list and be like, okay, who do I want to get signed the most? I need to get in their line first. You can get in multiple lines. I think I ended up going through 4 tables while I was there. Because once you get through the first one, you hop in the next line, kind of go from there. But obviously some lines, if there's specific drivers in it or specific teams in it, are quite a bit longer. You'll see a lot longer of lines for if any big race car drivers K-Mag, his lines was longer last year. The year that Fernando Alonso and Lando Norris did it, I'm sure their lines were the longest.
I could not even imagine.
But at the time, it probably 2018. Wasn't. Yeah.
That's for Fernando, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like AO Racing always has a really long line for their autograph signings. So just keep it in mind. Make a plan going into it, but just know that just because you have two favorite drivers in two different lines doesn't mean that you won't be able to get to both of them. You just got to prioritize. Hey, this is priority 1, priority 2, priority 3.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I got through 4 lines. I started lining up maybe 30 minutes before it started, maybe 45 minutes, but also it's in the fan zone, so you can kind of just hang out. And when you see like people start kind of accumulating near the area, okay, maybe it's time for you to go get in line. But it's really nice. Last year it worked out really great because a couple of my favorite drivers were in the same line. Like, I think Pietro, Callum, well, they were on the same team. Callum, Colton Herta, and Arthur Leclerc were all in the same line. I was like, that's my line. I'm going there.
I forgot he did it last year.
Arthur?
Yeah.
He participated last year. He's very nice. He signed my driver's license plate, which if you're watching on YouTube is behind Gracie's head. There you go.
Hi, Arthur.
Hi, Arthur. But yeah, it's a very chaotic time because it only lasts like an hour and a half, maybe. That's a guess. I don't remember how long it lasts. But it's very like, you got to have a plan in place. You got to know. They also give you a nice like map on where each table is.
That's nice.
Because you can be like, okay, like this is my table, and then I have to like go left and then go down the sidewalk, and that's where the next table is. Just got to make a plan. Be prepared.
It also seemed from at least watching you all go, it was like you keep moving. You're not stopping.
You're not standing until like once it actually starts. Then you're constantly moving. They're really strict. Like you can't like turn around and take pictures with the drivers. I mean, if you're in line and no one's in line behind you, I'm sure they won't care. But if there are people waiting behind you, they're going to be a little strict about it. You can have them sign other things, but like be courteous. Don't have like 5 things for Scott Dixon to sign. Have him sign the one and then move on.
Like you got to think there's people in line behind you that also would probably love to have a diecast signed by Scott Dixon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's definitely like that, and then the grid walk are the two most like overstimulating moments of the weekend for sure. But if you go in prepared with that and prepared to kind of manage that battle, you'll be fine.
The grid walk at the Battle on the Bricks was overstimulating. Like I couldn't imagine
Daytona was worse.
Like I literally could not imagine.
So worse.
That's crazy.
The only good thing about Daytona versus IMS was Daytona had multiple exits and entrances.
Oh, that's nice.
And you were able to go even straight into the grandstands.
Oh, that's so nice.
On the other side. Versus like IMS, there was like one little like spot for you to go in and out, and like everyone was doing it. It was really stressful. Mm-hmm. But that was definitely one of my favorite moments.
I love that.
Some more tips is wear ear protection.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whether that be the over the ear protection that you can get, like the over the ear headphones. You can do this, not styrofoam, but the foam earplugs on Amazon for pretty cheap. It's going to be worth it, especially, if you're staying the full 24 hours, but also even if you're not, like, it's a speedway.
Yeah.
Noise echoes. IMSA is so loud. Daytona is so loud. It's one of the loudest races I've been to, and it's a long race.
Oh, I was going to say, at Battle on the Bricks, I ordered headphones. They didn't come in time, but I had my AirPods that have noise canceling, and I used that, and it worked pretty well. So, like, even if you're in a pinch or something, still, like, wear ear protection.
Worth it to protect your ears. Especially if you go to many races and plan on going to many races, protect your ears in the long run.
Yeah, we're talking about your future here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Another tip, and this is for pretty much every race you go to, bring a portable charger. Mm-hmm. Daytona does have spotty service in some places when everyone's using their phones at the same time. Yeah. So, and also phones die very easily at a 24-hour long event. So make sure you have like a meetup spot for your friends, whoever you're going with, like, hey, we're going to meet by, I don't know, the AO garage or something. Somewhere, in the middle. Just make sure you have that
understanding with your friends.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I'm having a lot of trouble talking today.
Yeah.
And then last tip that I have, again, just wear layers. If you bring a car, you're parked there, you're able to go in and out throughout the whole event. So if you have to go put layers in your car or get more layers from your car, it's definitely worth it to just have that prepared and ready to go.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Next.
That's all I have. All the notes I have.
All of the notes.
That seems, I mean, that's IMSA. That's a very, very, very quick crash course on IMSA. Any questions about Daytona that you have? Because you didn't go last year.
No, I didn't.
Anything that you can think of that maybe someone watching might have a question about?
Did you feel safe sleeping there overnight?
I felt very safe. I was in a group, but it was me. Kind of in an interchangeable group of people, but at one point it was just me and two of my friends that are both women. Felt very safe. We did sleep in the grandstands. I know that sometimes the infields can get a little bit crazy, but we did walk through the infields. I never felt unsafe there. It's a lot of like families with kids there, a lot of people that have been going for years. So I felt super safe walking around, but as always, like, keep your head on a swivel anywhere you go.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I felt super safe, especially in the grandstands, because there were like nobody in the grandstands. So like most of the time there weren't any people around. So.
What did you feel like saved you the most when you were really cold? Or like maybe last year you were like, I wish I had this. Not even just like layers. Or
last year, so at one point it felt like all hope was lost. It was about like 1:30, 2 a.m. and I was like, I'm not going to make it through the night. I'm not going to do it. And what saved me the most is we were like sharing. It was me, Marley, Motorsport Marley, and Andrea from the Laugh Sound podcast. There's the three of us there. We were shivering cold. And we were like, we need hot drinks. But most of the food vendors do end up closing at night. So again, another thing is if you plan on staying overnight and you're worried you're going to get hungry, bring snacks. Because I don't know what time they open on the other side because we didn't go over until like mid-morning. We did have Ryan bring us IHOP in the morning though, and that was great.
That's amazing.
But when it was 2 a.m., we thought, okay, there's nowhere to get like a hot drink or anything. But we did have Caleb, actually, our friend Caleb, who is going to be there this year as well, reach out and was like, hey, there's free coffee up here on the near one of the grandstands. So we got some free coffee, and like, I love coffee, but I'm not like someone that drinks it every day. And I'm not like, ooh, I need coffee. I love coffee. But that was the best coffee I've ever had in my life. Like, it was so good. It was just cream and sugar, but it was so good because it was so warm and it was free. I hope they have that again this year. It was literally just like one that you walk up and make, like pour your own cup kind of thing. It's not like people serving you. And it was definitely messy. You could tell that there was no supervision there, but it was worth it.
So maybe don't take all the coffee, but bring a thermos from home for the nighttime.
Yeah. Or just, again, be prepared. Hand warmers. I wish I had more I had some, but I wish I had more hand warmers. And yeah, if anything, maybe 2 blankets, because one, I wanted to cover myself, but I also, when I was laying on the ground of the grandstand, like in between the seats, I wish I would have had something to lay on top of.
And that's so fair.
Yeah. Any other questions that you can think of?
I don't think so.
If you have any questions and you're going to Daytona, if you have any specific questions or any questions about IMSA, let me know. You can message us. You can comment down below. But yeah, I'm so excited to go back. Like I said, it was my favorite race that I attended last year. It's my favorite race I've ever attended, and it's just like a one-of-a-kind experience. And like, it's crazy to say, like, whenever I like tell people about it, especially people that aren't familiar with IMSA or aren't familiar with racing at all, I'm like, yeah, I stayed there for 24 hours of racing. They're like, what? That's so crazy. That's so cool. It's just like such a cool life experience to say that I got to do. So, like I said, if you have the opportunity, you should definitely try.
I thought of something that I was going to say earlier. Just remembered. Okay. Bring like your book or like your Kindle or something.
Yes.
So you have an activity that's not on your phone, because like you just said, there's going to be no service or like spotty service, and also to not lose your phone battery.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I was thinking on my lone login.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was, and like I said, there's so much to do. Like, I didn't have a Kindle or anything to like entertain myself. And luckily we went with a pretty big group, so like there was always people to talk to and stuff.
Yeah.
There is plenty to do, but there will be a time where, especially like if you're just like, you can't sleep or it's 2 a.m. or anything like that, definitely bring something to entertain yourself. We should bring a deck of cards.
Oh, that's so smart. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Any other questions? Anything to add about IMSA?
No, like I said in the beginning, just watch.
Yeah.
Like, you're just going to have to watch a race. Daytona's the best to do it, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also said this before, but I personally feel like picking an LMP2 team is a little easier because they're kind of easier to point out when all of the action is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to like go in and prepare for the IMSA season, they actually just this past weekend had like an IMSA preview. It debuted on NBC, but you can still watch it on the YouTube channel. It's like 40-ish minutes long. Kind of talking a little bit about the season, but also on Peacock, you can go back and watch old races from last year. So I've been watching and I think on YouTube as well, at least some of them. But you can go back and watch. Like I've been watching. I always watch old Rolex 24 races, like at night when I'm like sleeping. I guess I don't watch them then, but I have them while I'm sleeping. So you can always go back and kind of see how it's structured and how kind of what to look for. And if you have any questions from that, you can also let me know just to prepare for the first race. Mm-hmm. So yeah, well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. IMSA, I know this year our plan is to definitely dive in more to IMSA and do some more coverage of it, to try to get more people interested in it and learn more about it. So this is the perfect year to take on a new series.
It really is, honestly.
Yeah. And another thing, if you love IndyCar already and plan on going to either the Long Beach race or the Detroit race for IndyCar, WeatherTech IMSA will also be there. So you'll see some of those cars there as well racing.
Yep.
So, all right. That's all.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.